Person Before Player program was implemented this year at Roland Park, and there was a former athlete that came and spoke to all of the current athletes at Roland Park about the importance of mental health and putting yourself before your sport. I thought it was really helpful. We learned a lot. One of my favorite things that we learned was about having bad cycles in practices or games and how to break that, because often for athletes it's easy to have a bad game or bad practice and fall into a cycle of repeating that. But this program taught us how to break that cycle and looking in perspective how, one bad practice isn't really going to matter a couple years from now, and how it's important to be in the moment and move on.
Being a student athlete, the challenges are incredible, and I think that they're really trying to look at things and work from the ground up to focus on the player first and really make sure that their well-being is taken care of in all parts of their lives.
I really like integrating, I think, just like wellness into my coaching practices and like building the habits of my student athletes anyway in general. So I feel like this was just like another kind of platform to like further build on things that were already important to me as a coach and things that I already hope are important to my players. Them knowing that wellness is a priority for us as an athletic department, like a coaching staff, I think is really important. The journey, I think, of kind of self-exploration and advocating for yourself is an ongoing process.
I was looking at the Person Before Player website, and I loved a quote that says, "The mind is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more it can strengthen and the more that it can expand." And I thought about that with players. They're constantly exercising, working on their skills, trying to play at the top of their game. But if your mindset isn't in the right place, will they really achieve that?
Focusing play-by-play was really important. Not worrying about mistakes or the score on the board. I realized that I would play my best if I was just focusing on where the ball was in the field and what was going on right in front of me.
We come into a debrief, they're quick to be like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this better, but they're not always quick to say, I really crushed that. So I think trying to challenge them just as much to like build their skills as a player as to build their skills as acknowledging greatness in themselves and each other is really important. I feel like Person Before Player gives us some like language and tools around that to build their vocabulary and their kind of like knowledge around how they speak to themselves and about themselves.
Everyone's going to make mistakes, and we have to be there to support one another, and as a parent, really supporting them mentally is a very important thing for us to do.
I think it's really valuable to know that Roland Park really cares about the athlete's mental health. I think that makes us feel more supported.